Hello everybody and welcome back to Wappelville. We got Monday Night Madness in Sporktober, I guess, because we got spooks, we got orcs, we got creepy things, all sorts of Halloween themed figures. Now we've got 3 of these guys, which are gonna have to be done in sort of a ghostly blue glow, and they have to. Hey Baron, how are you doing? That is pronto right there. That is like seconds into it. So how are you doing? Now we are going to hit another one of these Wrath of Kings figures here. Now we were working on this guy. What was this, Saturday? Right, Baron? I think this was Saturday. And definitely same thing. So we'll see what we can do on this guy. I don't know if we're going to match. I don't think we'll be matching his skin tones at all, but we'll have some fun with that armor. Maybe do some more rusting on it. And not quite sure what well, definitely some skin right there. So we'll not quite sure what we're going to do with that. And there's our illustrious moderator. How are you doing? Oh yeah, Baron, I had tried to upload there was a Twitch session on some of more of the Rohan stuff, and it just wouldn't upload. I tried the last 24 hours to upload it, so I just kind of took one that was existing and made it public. Now we're going to try out this Prussian blue today. I haven't had a chance to use it yet. It's been in the container for a little while. We'll see what we can do with that. You can see right now we have a whole bunch of different blues out on the palette. And oh, look at this. Yeah, remember these guys? So we're going to be obviously working in some of these. Now, one of the things that's the Word Bearers dice bag. Yeah, folks, well, be sure to check those out. Is the Death Guard one still getting all kinds of responses? Because that was setting all kinds of records there. Now we got these 3 very different blues. You see, you got the reddish blue, some a little bit more green, the cerulean blue, the cobalt. Now, also take a look at how this one's got a little more glossy. That is not cerulean blue, not going to be glossy. The phthalo blue always going to be glossy. The ultramarine is somewhere in, but actually it's less glossy than I expected it to be. So that's the benefit of doing these little color chart things like this. Now we also have our indigo blue out on the palette. We'll be using that for setting up darks, and we have to do our bases and everything else. So we'll see what's going to happen with those guys. But again, these guys have to be this bluish glow. We are actually going to be dispensing with a lot of the so-called pre-glaze, I think. Slow down, but still ticking the likes. It can be tough to keep that momentum going on those things. Usually after the first 16 hours or so, it just really dies away. So what we'll do is this guy, we'll start him up after a little while. Now, these here, I just want to see where we're at here. I think I can back. There we go. That's a little bit easier to see now. Hey, Captain Caveman and Nosferatu, how are you guys doing? Let's see, we got where's that hag? There she is over there. So this was one wild and crazy figure, wasn't it? This was part of Saturday too, I think. This one and the doggy were on Saturday. Yeah, those are pretty wild ones there. Still can't determine if that one was where that one came from. I keep forgetting to ask, actually. Yeah, and I still don't know how the heck it was a one-piece cast either. Because, well, that's crazy if it was. I don't know how they managed to do that. So we're just going to start throwing some of our Van Dyke Brown out here. Maybe even a little bit of the indigo blue or something like that. But as I mentioned before, we are going to dispense with kind of the usual pre-glaze. Hey, Augurbot, that hag, we still don't know what that was yet. That was a commission figure, and I just have not had a chance to ask them what that was or who makes it. It could be a board game figure. It could be. It didn't seem like a 3D print because 3D resin is nowhere near as flexible as that stuff is. Now, let's see. Nice to catch you right before bedtime. Have about an hour. I'm sure you can finish a dozen minis. Well, actually, geez, we already finished 4. I mean, it just happened so fast, and well, it is so late, you just didn't see it happen. It already happened. Let me see. I think we're all caught up there. Now I'm going to get a little more of the thinner end of this just to help that flow. Where's my... Oh, what the heck? I'm going to just toss a little bit of phthalo into here. I also got cobalt blue on the palette, so there are some colors that you don't really see very often. There's... Sometimes I try to align things like, well, this commission thing got to get done tonight with, well, they haven't seen this in a long time or maybe never as far as color combos go. And this is me trying to align those things. So we're just getting some of those darker things in there. And again, we're going to see what we can do within our range of blues here. And I'm really liking the fact that we've got this little, it's almost like a little library of playing cards right here. You shuffle the deck. What do you got? You got all your different blues here. I think, I don't know if I get a chance to shoot one of the, speaking of which, speaking of videos, this one is rendering now. So hopefully it'll let me upload this one because this is the next Patreon video right here. He's like, ooh, spooky, look at that. Don't mess with my forest. And he sees that hag coming along with that dog. He's like, you best not do that on me. Keep that dog on a leash. He ain't doing that. Oh, look at, see, he's got his little sapling thing in his hand there. So remember those Green Stuff World liquid pigments? We were using those actually to paint the whole figure this time instead of just the base. So this was the first time I'd used these guys on something else besides a base. So yeah, this is the new Patreon video. This is uploading right, well, not uploading, it is rendering right now. And then whenever we're done here, I will attempt to upload it, and hopefully it actually does that. Sometimes I guess the longer videos just don't want to upload. I've tried twice. Let's get to the next one over here. Oh, I'll get some... Okay, that's a tree. I was wondering, what the heck is that? Hey, Grimgard, how are you doing? Yeah, Baron, actually, a friend of mine that I do the Lord of the Rings stuff with, he wanted a tree man so bad, he just took a bunch of sticks and made a stick golem out of it. I mean, that's pretty much what Ents are anyways. And that is something, I have no Ents myself for my Lord of the Rings games, so I'm definitely going to have to, somehow do a little, what would you call it, a scratch build, a kit bash, a whatever, and just make some tree men, because I think that would be a blast. I think that would be an absolute blast. I think I have some branches and stuff that would work for, wasn't there like old birch or something like that, or old beech? Hey, Mellow Mishaps, how's it going? Let's see, I can watch it at work tomorrow. That's good. Yeah, I'm hoping that whatever is going on, that just was that one video that it didn't want to upload, and that this one's probably half as long as that one, so I think maybe that should help. And it did show the foliage too. So it was, we were working on our, here, let's get some more of this brown out here. Hey, Mose and Mini Dreadful. It'll be a stick bash. Well, I tell you, one of these crazy guys, remember his stick? Where the heck did that one? Here he is. So yeah, with these guys all dry now, you can kind of see what, remember these dudes here? Would you like some fish and chips? Yeah. Let's see, so how are you guys doing? Yeah, remember the one that had the big old stick that he kept whacking people with? These things, still some of the weirdest, even almost more weird than the octopus guy. Alright, now that we got some of our Van Dyke Brown back out here. So these are Nighthaunts, right? These guys, I don't think the Start Collecting Nighthaunts box has these things, does it? Be neat if it did. I don't think it does. Who knows? Maybe it does, and I just don't know any better. That wouldn't be the first time. Let's see, bought some lichen from the model train shop. Yeah, Baron, now if you ever see my blog posts on the trees that I make, where I take that typical kind of, oh gosh, with that moss, right? The lichens that you see all the time. I took those and I just took branches and sticks and made trees out of them. Now, those are step-by-step articles on the blog. I can't really do that as a video because there's a liquid, a spray glue that I use, and I'm not using that near all of my computers and that sort of stuff. So I don't know if I'll ever be able to make a video out of one of those, but there are some step-by-step pictorial posts. Yeah, I'm gonna just start fooling around with this phthalo blue here. I'm sorry, Prussian blue. Prussian blue. Now let's go back around to our first one again. Let's cut up some sponges, shall we? Yeah, it's just Wappelius, blogspot.com, and look in the terrain section. That's where you should find that. And, well, I've got dozens of step-by-step tutorials on those bolt-action boards that I built. Now, oh, this is another thing that I experimented with. As big as that other guy was, this guy's even bigger. And I was experimenting with this on the base. Actually, one of the things I glued him to the base with was the liquid nails here. And a lot of the pieces of bark here and stuff, just to see how well it holds that. And seems to be doing pretty well. So there's another one of his little skelly friends down there. Let me see. Yeah, so Mini Dreadful, great to see you back here. Here, I'm just going to get that tube out of the way. And start pulling away some of this paint here. And here they come, Ride to Ruin and the World's Ending, the host with the most. There it is. Oh, and ironically, that was the video that I was trying to upload. It was the Twitch session with Erkenbrand. Wow, that Prussian blue. I mean, I'm not surprised that it's not intense, but ooh, that's a nice blue right there. I think we're going to be seeing an awful lot of that today. Yeah, that's very fun. My goodness. I think maybe that mixed with some of the Egyptian violet could be interesting for some Rubik Marines. Look at how that stains that guy. I think I can also maybe turn up my brightness in a sec. Now remember, we're not doing the usual pre-glaze on these guys right here, because we want to have that inside-out sort of glow. Now there's our second one. Let's do this one here. Haven't actually had a chance to paint any of these guys before, so this should be very fun. That Prussian blue, I expected it to have some punch to it, but wow, that's got some real kick. I like that. Yeah, that's very nifty. All right. Got my little smaller sponge just to get in there. So we got these three. We'll leave him. We'll leave him for a little bit later. Let's dive into, shall we, some other stuff here. Hey, Zip Zap, how are you doing? Yeah, these are, I can only imagine how there's those parts where you have to kind of bend them a little bit and parts that go around. And trying to file mold lines on these things, even with, say, something like the sanding sticks, probably not the most fun in the universe. So I am going to tint that with just a wee pinch of the cobalt blue. And we're just, it's going to look like we're just painting these white. However, it really is not white, and it has to, remember, be thin. And we are going to alter our colors here and there too. And this might be the only, that's it. I'm not going to put any more paint on the brush. I'm going to have to take what I've got here And this is just going to have to be spread everywhere. I might even take some of this away. So don't be surprised if you see me wiping away white paint that you cannot see. Consider this a pre-glaze, but it's a very, very different type of pre-glaze than what you're used to. I mean, a lot different than what you're used to. I thought this could be fun, seeing something a little bit different, because people have asked about, well, if you're doing object source lighting, especially something that's really glowing, and the whole thing is glowing, well, what do you do with your pre-glaze? I thought, let's try it. And let's show people what you can possibly do. Hey, Hobby Hutch, how are you doing? So zip zap, I hope everything is going all right. And I know this just doesn't look super stunning right here, but it is necessary. Just like the pre-glaze on the bottom of the base, we've got to do that up here. But I would like to give this a few minutes to set, so we will move on to the other ones here. We got 3 of these guys to do, and I do believe we're going to be doing this long enough to be able to get to this guy over here. Nobody leaves, nobody goes to sleep, none of that stuff until these are done with. It's just like the last 2 sessions. Nobody leaves, nobody sleeps until everything's done. That's just the rule. Now, if you're going to be doing the, are you doing the, like this is inside out. So think of the interior is the light source. Now, where's our, so for the Ossiarch right here, it was mostly phthalo green. Actually, I did thin it, not thin it, I did cut it with a little bit of that yellow. See that kind of a lemon yellow type color? And that was actually the pre-glaze on that. You can actually go back and watch that one. That's a highlight right now. So that's just, that's there to see. And let's say you're not, well, it depends now. Do you want the more cooler, bluish green object source lighting? Or do you want that, like the more yellowish type that's on this guy? So this one, the glow is very yellow. I know it's tough to see because it's really bouncing off the screen there, but this is very yellowish green glow. Ah, okay, that's good. So I think what I'm going to try and emphasize too, just kind of in general going forward, is some variations on the pre-glaze stuff, because it just kind of, as I noticed, that people thought the pre-glaze was always the same thing, that it was just the same couple of browns or whatever, and I was trying to show that it could be more than that, but I think now I'm really going to try and place stronger emphasis on that even. So again, we're starting out with the white here, so that we can take our darker blues and just let those blend into everything that we're doing here. Oh, hey George. Oh, let's see. Has a blast painting them? Yeah, this is gonna be. There's only so much that I can do as far as my own touches on it, since these are going to be commission things. And you see those 2 Vikings down there? They have to basically match those color-wise, or at least somewhat. That's kind of what we have to go for here. And I'm just trying to get this brush into as many of these little crevices here as I can. This is something that most folks are not used to seeing, and that is this essentially a white pre-glaze. Now, I don't know if you can see just how blue that is, but you can see how much bluer that is than this guy right here. Oh, hey, Raven. it's been a busy day filming, tutorials, editing, rendering, all that kind of stuff. I hope that it's been going well for you. I already forgot that today was Monday. So this is definitely not as well. It just in general, it hasn't been. The pre-glazes are kind of getting a little bit thicker, which is interesting because that's more like what happened with the acrylic stuff. Now this is, it's not, how should we say it? It's not liquidy thin, but it's still pretty thin because we're just taking a tiny bit of it and we're spreading it around. So just imagine you've got butter, you're trying to butter some toast or whatever, and instead of every couple of seconds grabbing more butter, you just throw some butter on there, and that butter just gets spread all over the whole piece of toast somehow. That's kind of what's happening here. So it's thinner, but without being so liquid. Because if I want to paint all that stuff over the top of this, it can't be super juicy. That's, I think, one of the problems that people run into, is that they make something way too liquid and then try to paint something over the top of it, and then they kind of run into some problems with that. So this is, it's still very much you can see how much paint is on that brush. There is not much paint on that brush. But we noticed, and this goes back to last year at Gen Con, we noticed how little paint that you have to put on that brush to make it flow. I kind of knew that was the case, but when you're showing people something and they say, "Holy smokes, that's not much paint on that brush," it kind of wakes you up to the fact that, oh yeah, there's really not much paint on that brush. Because you just sort of get used to it because it's the process. Now, there are a few times where I take maybe a pinch of some of the thinner here and there, because some of these rougher surfaces, just to get it to flow. And they're not really going to get as much of the lighter color or darker color, sorry, over the top anyways. Oh, hey, Cosplaying Kitten, how are you doing? Hi, Lumberjack, how are you doing too? Wow, this is an early Drax sighting. We have a Drax. So folks, be sure to give Cosplaying Kitten and Drax the follows because, well, follows are fun. Now, Drax, I'm guessing you're going to be streaming later tonight, so I might actually be able to catch you, hopefully, after we're done here, because I will be uploading a video, which means I don't think I'll be recording or anything like that. Oh, we are trying where the heck did you go? We are trying the Prussian blue for the first time tonight. Let me see. I think so. Cosplaying Kitten, how did the stream go yesterday? I think I tried getting in, but I was too late, I think. Yeah, I think that's what it was. I think I was too late. All right, so we put that white on here. Guess what? We're even going to take a little bit of that off. Now you see that? See, there is blue in that white. But I just wanted to take some of it away in these upper reaches here. So Mellow Mishaps, this is just like what we were talking here, where if we want to put this darker blue over the top of our spooky things here, we want this to be as dry as possible. So I think you can see that's not glistening anymore. Oh, digitally coloring that Warhammer avatar. Now I've seen the last few Instagram posts, and those are looking fantastic, of course. Yeah. Look at that. This looks white. This will tell you just how not white that already is. Now we'll do this again. So this thing, I can see the paint glistening on that thing, which means that is way too much. We don't want that much on here. If we want to go over the top of this, we need less paint on there. And it's just simple white Stynylrez primer. That's all it is. Now there are some areas here where I think I could stand to maybe have a little bit more little cobalt. Just really shoving the brush way down into here. Ah, that's better. Oh, let me see. Ah, okay, that's good. Here, let's do a little bit of this. Good enough. We can really see the difference now. How much, see that? How much we've affected that and made those more of a blue. Oh, let's find some kind of a filbert brush. I'm just going to look around and see if I've got a bigger filbert somewhere. I don't think I do. I wish I did. Oh, actually, Armored Wolf, can you maybe post the link that you found to the... It's a set sort of like this. Remember we talked about a set with 4 different brush sizes, 5 of each, or 6 different sizes, or 5 different sizes, 6 of each. So yeah, if you can post that link up there in the chat for folks, who knows, maybe that could be of use to them. All right, well, I see somehow this did not get cleaned out, so we're going to use this filbert right here. Yep, 6 different, 5 of each, 6 different sizes. See, I think the other one only had 5 different sizes. I know there was 30 brushes total, and I know it was a 6-5 combo, but the 6-5 combo was reversed. And what was the smallest one that it went down to a 2 or something like that? And that's from Hobby Lobby, right? It has to be from Hobby Lobby. So I'm going to try and, if I can, snag that maybe this week and see what happens. And we'll give those a shot. And who knows, it could be the descendants of the one true brush. Okay, we've got our filbert brush sort of ready to go here. Let's try some different things. Oh, look at that. Look at that wondrous Prussian blue. Yeah, you thought it was, thought the brush was dry before. It's going to have to really be dry now. Now let's start out in the area that's easiest to see. And this has to be a really light, gentle brush stroke. And I mean, when I say light and gentle, I mean you're barely touching it. So see how that's, look at that. Look at how that's working already. Heck, less paint. There's too much paint on that brush. Now part of it is just how powerful that Prussian blue is. But man, that is already doing some interesting work. See how it doesn't take long? Look at how all that white's getting into the brush. It means that's mixing. So I think we came up with a nice, adequate way of doing this with our pre-glaze. Now the thing that's happening here, which is fun, is that this is blending. Because I've done this a million times with the acrylics, and what sort of happens is that it still has a dry brush look to it. This doesn't have that. It's blending, not a dry brush look. So yeah, look at this. You can see how much of that white paint it's picking up there. Oh, let's see. Bum, bum, bum. Oh, it's on Dick Blick. Okay. I was just watching your YouTube. Oh, yeah. Hey, and they're excellent. Yeah, well, what should have been posted if YouTube had actually uploaded it instead of crashing the upload 3 times. I've been trying to upload this thing since last night, and it just has not been successful. So yeah, that's an older video where I was trying to do a new skin tone on that. What was that? Oh, the Big Child Creative Orc. That's right. Yeah, we can go further than this. It's just we want to take advantage of all that blending, right? Look at all the white that's getting on that brush. But we better take it think it's slow here. Well, slow is relative. That's a very relative term here. Oh my, let me see. Oh, and Nessie in the house too. The one that's on the tree man. If you're talking about that one, that is the liquid pigments from Green Stuff World. So that's going to be an acrylics video. The one that's in Orc, that one is in oils. Because I was trying out some new colors there, just like we're trying out a new one here. We're trying out this Prussian blue here, just to see what happens. Because we have not used it before. I figured this is as good a place as any to try out a super intense blue. Now patience is the key here, because as soon as I do a certain amount, just get this to a certain point, I got to stop doing this here. I got to move on to a different one. We let the paint settle again. Always have to let that paint try and settle. It's like putting it in that proving drawer. So this is Prussian blue right here, Inner Excellence, and it's a Gamlin. I got this during their, was it the 40% off sale? And it's one that I had hoped for doing, well, obviously some certain other Space Marine things and such in the future. I was really thinking for my Thousand Suns, my Rubik Marines there. I thought that would be a really nice intense blue to have, among others. So I'm just trying to fish the brush in there somehow, some ways. Okay, there's that. Now I'm going to take a different brush here. Oh, I don't know, maybe the one we started with, like this here. We're going to go with maybe a little less light, but possibly more opaque here. Let's see what we can do on the base of it. Look at how I just picked up all that dirty stuff. Look at all that dirty stuff. This is also going to get some, well, some grass, some tufts, some flock, and we'll probably have to paint that after the fact. But you see, all of a sudden now the base starts to tie into what's going on here with everything else. But because the pre-glaze down here was darker, we're able to very, very quickly establish some kind of lighting. Let's see. Thinking about Demons of Corn. Oh, hey, Nessie. Yes, you're right. Don't be hasty. Don't be hasty. Which, oh, Nessie, did you see this here? So this is what's rendering right now, and he says, "Don't be hasty." Actually, yeah, he's got quite. I guess he's a proud dad because see, he's got some kind of little sapling thing in his hand or something like that. So yeah, that's the liquid pigments from Green Stuff World, using them on an entire figure, as opposed to just the. Let's get some more of our white out here. It's really weird. I've never, ever had to put white out on the palette this early in the process. But, well, we also haven't done anything like this. So now that's our Prussian blue with some of the white in it. And we're looking for just some little extra oomph on the lighting of that scaly tone there. Boy, this Prussian blue, I mean, yes, I know the cobalt blue is more of a reddish and ultramarine, all that other kind of stuff. I just wish that I had the Prussian blue when I did these. So we might have to have, who knows, we might have another one with blues and add the Prussian blue to that. Or just we might have one where it's just kind of like general colors, where we take a bunch of different colors that are new and just compare them to some charts that we've already done, which actually that could be kind of interesting too. So yeah, that's not really taking very long. Hey, Rancid Vomit and Marty Mar.
Hello, little hobbits. Spark my ganja.
Thank you so much for the follow, Robo Tentacle. So Marty Mar, that is from Mears Miniatures. In true Mears Miniatures fashion, they have a entire line of tree men. They go from smaller ones that are almost, say, dryad sized to stuff that's more like treekin sized, say about ogre sized. Then it gets a little bit bigger, and then it gets truly massive. Actually, they even get bigger than this. So this guy is at least another 15-20% larger than that guy, maybe bigger. That's typical Mears Miniatures. They do it with everything. Sometimes they'll have monsters riding monsters. That's not kidding. Seriously, they have monsters riding monsters. So see how the hands get a little bit darker here on the ends. Oh, let's see the. Oh, thanks, Armored Wolf. Thank you so much. Ah, see, if that's from Dick Blick, don't they have like a 20 or free shipping, $25 or something like that sale? I thought I saw an email with that today, and I thought, oh man, that's one of the reasons I'm trying to crank these things out. It's just to get Buddy in the PayPal so that I can stock up on, well, that sort of stuff. Ah, here we go. Yeah, so look at how much of the lighter color we're picking up. I mean, it was more like this. Look at how dark the brush is now, and then we'll do a little bit, and then you'll see just how. And remember how much of that white we wiped away. Remember how dry we were trying to keep these things, and yet look at how light that's gotten in comparison to that side. We'll flip that brush over. We'll do this side. Actually, you can do a little bit more of that with the filbert style brushes. And like I said, I would get more of these things, but the ones that I used to get, now maybe it's because I was using them with the acrylics. I don't know. Too bad these are only 18. So folks, that's $18 for 30 brushes. Basically, cousins to the one true brush. At least that's the working theory right now, is that they are cousins to the one true brush. Angry Ham, how are you doing? Yeah, Mears Miniatures. Well, they're the same guys that made this thing. So this is just kind of typical for Mears Miniatures. They have two of these. They got one, remember it's got the Skaven or the rat head or whatever there. So yeah, this is not unusual for Mears Miniatures to do big old things. Hey, Bethany, how are you doing? Yeah, we have to get these spooky things done, and then this one tonight as well. And who knows if those get done, maybe then we can do this little dude as well. We'll just see how this all goes. Oh, hey, Sky King. Now, Angry Hemp, sorry that it's been kind of funky there. It's definitely been, well, you could at least say up-tempo here. There's definitely been some weird things here in the last few weeks, that's for sure. We are hoping that, I don't know, maybe the close of October is more like what we were hoping it was going to be. But one never knows. Let's see. So Sky King, I hope everything is okay there. So once again, we're keeping this towards the lighter end of things before we get more into the. Whoops, that was the. I completely spaced on which brush I was using. But it don't matter because that can be a filbert brush too. Now let's spread a little light onto these, shall we? Yes, like Armored Wolf says, all weeks are Wappel weeks. I think they should be. Let's see, what were some of the other things that... well, I've got to continue with the Ossiarch series. But I'm also... Ooh, that's it. And Armored Wolf already knows this. But I think a color scheme idea, or just even a concept, has been reached for the Lumineth. So I know, Nessie, you were asking if there was multiple army painting series this month, though there definitely is, because I'm going to try and assemble the Lumineth figures, and I'm going to try and get that series also underway. Now, all of these series, they were supposed to be underway before ReaperCon. But ReaperCon happened and other things, and that meant not. Now, these are the oils, Bethany, but there is a new color tonight. So we are using Prussian blue for the first time. I got this on the 40% sale. It was one that I thought could be on the useful side. And it is, oh my gosh. It is so, look at the intensity of this color. Oh, man. It pretty much it almost puts phthalo blue to shame. Although phthalo blue has some nice red to it, it's sort of like a slightly more green version than phthalo blue. So here's a little bit of phthalo blue. Here's a little bit of a preview for you there. See what's going on now. Look at his hand here. Yeah. That's happening. And even the blades are also supposed to be part of the spirits. I remember, I think we did that with the Vikings there. Yes, even their blades were spectral, ethereal, whatever you want to call it. So see the difference that's starting to make there? Let's see. My elves, though I have the biggest troubles painting them. Hey, Lady B, how are you doing? Let's see. Is Mel in the... Oh, hey, Mel. There you are. I just saw a meeting for Grell. A greeting for Mel. Wow, that's... We're doing words already. Yeah. Words ain't working, and it's early yet. But it's going to have some interesting... That the colors... That was one of the things I was trying to nail down. But the other thing, too, was the basing. I knew I wanted to use the Green Stuff World rollers, the elf texture roller, but I didn't just want it to be, okay, we'll roll out a sheet, we'll have him dancing across this marble floor. I've got, oh gosh, it's not this container of crystals, it's actually smaller ones. So these are the giant ones, but somewhere I've got a package of very small ones of these. And I thought it would be very interesting to have some kind of gemstone thing that's going on with all the bases, including the texture roller. So that's a lot of the lighter purples combined with some darker, almost the Egyptian violet. Let me see. The Prussian blue, well, it's just like a lot of the blues, the phthalo blue, the Prussian blue. And right now, we're using phthalo blue here. We're going to switch to some Prussian blue. So again, we're just using this as a filbert brush. It's another reason why I just don't really get those very often because, well, sort of have. Now there's your Prussian blue, which is definitely more of a greenish blue. So this one has more red in it. That is going to have just a pinch more of the green. So Mel, I hope everything has at least gone okay so far this week, even though the week is very young. Let's get more of our darker blues up here, and you can, I also wanted to have a bit of a comparison for you, so you could see where we sort of started from, then what we migrated to, and then what we're sort of working towards. And that should reveal itself when you see these three side by side. So here is first, then you can see it start to evolve here, and now you can see it starting to evolve here, and that's basically 40 minutes in. Now, I think Kathy was painting her, well, actually, she might still be doing that right now. She was painting that, oh gosh, whatever that big Cthulhu guy was. And I think I hear her music, so I think she's still doing that. So you can see, look at how it's picking up that lighter color underneath it. And we'll certainly be more targeted than this, but we want to have that blending, right? That's what we're trying to get in here, is as much blending as we can. That's what makes this so much easier than doing this in acrylics. Oh my goodness. I mean, it's not like this is super difficult in acrylics, but the oils just make it that much faster. Well, that much more chill, because you're not just racing against the clock every single color you're putting down. Let's get a little bit of our darker underneath here. Oh, again, Gemini is back in there. Oh, and Sergey. I just don't want, let's see. Let's see, hello chat. What's your approach to using opaque and transparent pigments? Well, you're seeing it right now. You're seeing them blend together. So this is the, obviously, our still white paint here. You can see we started to just gently brush on a little bit of the Prussian blue there, and now we've got cobalt and phthalo and Prussian blue. It's something that we do. Well, you can watch ones. I think you were here when we were doing this one, right, Sergey? You might have been watching this one here. And since 80% of all oil paints are basically transparent, anything that is darker than white or yellow, or maybe something that says cadmium or yeah, anything that says cadmium will be opaque. Everything else is going to be basically transparent. It's just something that you live with every single day, every single moment of painting your miniatures. Now, where's our hag? So when we were doing her, so we used indigo here, which is definitely a much more intense, more opaque, kind of a bluish black that went into a lot of places. Here there was an awful lot of the umbers that went into that. And we used a lot of the phthalo green. This came in after the fact, so we almost glazed the phthalo green on. Same thing over here, where we essentially took an alizarin crimson, did a similar thing, because, well, you know, crimson's also another one of those super transparent type of colors. Oh, let me see. So I tried to get back to my normal biorhythm, really tried, but I saw you were streaming. Yeah, that's yes, hashtag no biorhythms. Nope. Well, like I said, just like the last two streams, nobody sleeps, nobody leaves until everything gets done. Because these are commission figs that just have to be done so that we can try and restock on some other supplies and do, well, other bills and things. So we're just going to keep hammering away at these. Now, we will grab a little bit of that cobalt blue. Remember we were trying, oh, that's right, we were trying to find a use for cobalt violet. We did, right? Where did he go? Remember we were finding some uses actually for cobalt violet on these guys, which was kind of interesting. Hey, Velfera, how are you doing? Let's see. Doom. Now, even harder for us European viewers. Well, now I will be going we're just getting started here. We will be going for a while, so you may, well, I don't think you'll catch me still doing this at 5 o'clock in the morning. But, oh, Thursday, Gemini, that's usually when I start. I don't even start till after, usually 11 something o'clock my time. So think of Thursday of this, well, I guess for you it would be Friday. It would be Friday morning for you. So think Friday morning. Ah, look at what the Cobalt Blue's doing there. Oh yeah, Sergey, that one's a highlight now. You can check that one out. I think there's another one. Ooh, did you get to see this one? My goodness, I don't think you got to see this. The Witch King of Angmar and his trusty fell beast, what was it, Melvin, I think was his fell beast name. And now that this is all dry, I'm going to try building a diorama base for it. That's going to be probably my next Patreon diorama video. And we have also been working on we'll continue with the Osiarch's army painting series. So this was, obviously we were working on the bone and such here. And this is going to be interesting because all this is dry. And we're going to be going, the thing we're going to be trying to do in the next episode is all the stuff with the interference blue like this. So that's what we're trying to set up right there. Let me see. Let's see. There were days when I watched you until you ended your stream, but I should watch that long anymore. In November, my first semester. Oh, a first semester starts, and I get to sleep. Well, okay. Fortunately, though, and I just wish I knew this from the get-go, but you can save your entire session as a highlight, and it's permanent. I just wish I knew this from day one instead of day, I don't know, 100 and something. Now we're going to get another step darker. So this is our, I almost called it indigo blue. This is the phthalo blue here. See, look at the direction we're going. See how we're bringing it this way? Ah, look at the difference. Look at that difference. Now we won't do this entire thing with just the phthalo blue. We're gonna, see, that's my next one that I'm gonna start throwing on there is phthalo blue. Are we gonna have a Blitzkrieg, Numbskull? How are you doing? He's like eating all these things, and he's like, whoa! Now it's ghosts. What's going on? Do they let anybody in here? Speaking of letting in anybody, they just let in a whole crowd of Rohirrim. So at some point when YouTube allows me, the upload failed a couple of times. I will be uploading another Rohan cavalry paint. It's Erkenbrand. Where'd you go, Erkenbrand? So it's the video where I was painting this guy, Erkenbrand. And thanks again, Numbskull. I appreciate that. Oh, hey, Freak Max. How are you doing? Yeah, Kathy is actually painting right now. She's just at her paint station doing some extra work on a figure that I think would be easier done off stream. Or off stream. You know what, I'm going to try and pop a little bit of this. Ooh, where's my... So I just mixed a wee bit of fluorescent green in with that. Yeah, Lady Bee, almost all the blues really do look like the phthalo blue, the phthalo green, the indigo. But as Sergey was saying that, and we've talked about this a lot, that the most intense dark colors are almost always transparent or at least a little bit translucent, and it's always something that you've got to factor in. Because people, they're used to the acrylic miniature paint where they've got Dark Angels green or whatever, and they're thinking it's going to just blot out the sun. and they're really shocked when the opposite happens. However, when you use those things correctly, you can actually still get those very dark results. Now, of course, it's also how we set things up. So everything is relative, and that's why we're always talking about context. Now, we're going to switch over here to our phthalo blue. So it's got a little bit more red in it. We're actually going to take some of that off of the brush here. And now we're back into our, and we're going to go back and actually get some extreme lights in here as well. But look at what that does to the fingers there. Oh my goodness. And if I really want that to be dark, I could even mix a little bit of indigo with it and make it that much darker. So the phthalo, which might even be a little bit more staining than, say, the... Yeah, I think it might be just a wee bit more. Stand here. Let's I'm just gonna get a little touch of that indigo with the phthalo there. Wow. Yep. Makes it even a little bit darker. So that's nifty. It looks like only one of these guys is holding a blade of some kind. Now what I'm going to do is snap a picture of these three guys side by side so that when I do try to get these up on the YouTube channel, that makes sort of an interesting little picture. Because here, I mean, it's tough to see it just while the stream is going, but that's why I do these. That's why well, there are several reasons why they go up on the YouTube channel. Part of it is you have to keep posting stuff there. Otherwise, if you start getting not enough views, you start losing all of the different privileges that you have accrued. It's sort of like Twitch, how, you know, it's temporary. If you don't just keep streaming every day of your life, you basically lose all of the progress that you've made. And that is how they get free content constantly being made, which I'm sure they make a plethora of dineros on. Let me see. Okay, we got conversation back and forth. Oh, let's get a little touch of the darker stuff up here, and then we will go back in with our lightest light too, and that's going. We did that with the Osiarchs, if you remember.
Little hobbits, spark my ganja.
Thank you so much, Danielle, for the follow. That is appreciated. Now, obviously, Gandalf appreciates it too. Yeah. Now let's compare our three once again. And that's just with that little, well, our sort of kind of pre-glaze right here. And you can see how it's darker, darker, darker. And then we're going to go back in and get some things lighter as well. Mel was around. I don't know if Mel had to take off. But we are going to get a little bit lighter here. So let's take some of that phthalo blue. It's mixed with our white. And we're going to get ourselves some more lights on Mr. Skelly friend down there. A little bit more on the base. A little more on our Skelly tone. Oh, Ink's cosplaying kitten. These blues, man. Well, I've always kind of liked blues. It's if you look at a lot of my color schemes, that they just tend to have blue in them. What was the... yeah, I remember the Wild West Exodus stuff was always fun because everything had a blue glow. I wish I had the oils when I was painting those guys. Here, let's do a little read. So we're pretty much into this phase, of course, with our things must be messy before they can be neat, right? They gotta be messy. They start out messy, all of a sudden now with all of our blue and everything else that we're doing, right? Of course, this is really easy to, we're certainly following this one. Blue is going everywhere. Blue is all over the place. Let me see. It's basically whatever Cool Mini sends me. They are supposed to be sending me all the stuff. So we'll see if they do. Let's just say that Jim really rattled the saber. And they're finally back to sending me things again. So whatever they send me, you'll certainly be seeing it. Now, you saw the Unsullied, right? You saw me painting these guys. Where the heck did they... Where did he go? He's around somewhere. Where's that Unsullied figure? No, can't quite find him. Is that him? Nope, that's not him either. But yeah, I was painting the entire Unsullied. Yeah, we painted the whole unit on stream. That's right. Let's see. Yeah, I think well, you showed me the pictures of the mammoths, right? I think you showed me the pictures there. And those should, whenever they have them, I suppose they are supposed to come this way. And for sure, some of them will be painted up as just regular recorded videos, and some will be painted up on stream. All right, now I'm just going to do a quick little side-by-side picture here. Like so, and there's my phthalo, or my Prussian blue here. So let's just have these guys lined up like so. I think we are going to turn on our extra light. Yes, we are. And don't mind me while I snap a picture here. Real quick. That's all I needed. There. Let's get this one darker here as well. I got kidnapped for the late game since 2 people went up and vanished after about 2 years of gaming. Oh yeah, Lumberjack Tim, I did I think 3 different sessions on the on those Unsullied. Yeah, I did 3 different sessions on those. And I think I was painting them about 4 at a time. Now here, we're switching up the color a little bit. This has a bit more of the Prussian blue and a little bit of the indigo to start with. But see the stroke there? I'm not just doing this, not straight. It's this. It's this circular stroke. It's basically scumbling. See how it rotates down, it hits the miniature, and it comes off the miniature. So that is what we're doing here. Again, trying to take a look at, you can see how the lighter color is mixing onto the brush like we want it to. Over here. But we're still working with our Prussian blue, our brand new Prussian blue that we have not had a chance to play with until tonight. Oh, hey Biggs, how are you doing? Yeah, so Brushcraft, it's a couple of different purple colors. In some ways, it's going to be a little bit like the, remember that first King of Malefica that I was doing? So Egyptian Violet would be one of the darker purples there, but then, well, it's also kind of still a quest to figure out if we can make Cobalt Violet work at some point. So we might even use some of that. So definitely a lot of perp. Obviously some gold-ish type freehand. Trying to basically take whatever is the pattern that's on the tile or the Sculpey sheets essentially, and try and freehand that onto their cloaks and such, because they have a decent amount of open space on the cloaks, right? I haven't actually had a chance to assemble them yet, so not quite sure if they do. I know you know way better than I do since you're well underway with your Lumineth. So where's Mr. Blending Brush? Where did you go? You're around here somewhere. Aha. I think I have tracked you down. So we just put this out here. Now we're going to take Mr. Blending Brush, and again, that's scumbling brush stroke. So it's not just this. It's almost like we tap it and twist it. And you can see, look at that paint that's coming off of there. We have to dry it off again. So it's not, we're not just stippling, we're not just doing this. It's kind of a combination of the two. See, all of a sudden we don't have those brush strokes anymore. It's not always just blending the color. Sometimes it's about brush stroke management. I know a lot of folks, they talk about the oils and say, oh man, you know, brush strokes, they're really hard to control those. And this is one way to do it, is we welcome in Spider-Man. How are you doing? Let's see, I'm debating adding something there as well. Okay. Let me see. Last Hobby Science video was great. I don't 3D print. Yeah, that is something that I'm trying
Hello, little hobbits. Spark my ganja.
Welcome in, Rafael. How are you doing? Thank you so much for the follow. I basically have to move a bunch of things around because, well, that 3D printer, I need more access to it. So I need to move it in a different area where there's much more space to maneuver. And I think I'm just going to get myself another airbrush hood as well. I tried to use other filters and things, and those didn't quite work out so well. Spider-Man is coming in hot. Look at this. We're waiting for it. It's coming. He's like, there's a scary ghost there, but there's something coming over here. He's like, uh-oh, there. Oh, and it's a tombstone. And the ghost says, aha, I got that tombstone. He says, man, now it has to be ghosts. It's always something. And thanks again, Spider-Man. I appreciate that. Yeah, it looks like there's going to be some new relatives of the One True Brush coming this way. We were talking about these guys. Oh, Brushcraft, I think you had some of these too, right? Well, I think on Dick Blick they have a pack, what was it? There was 30 brushes. It's a 6-5 split. I think it's 6 sizes, 5 of each. But I think that the Master's Touch that we have, Brushcraft, that's 5 different brushes, 6 apiece, I think. But in any case, it's 30 brushes for 18 bucks, which, hey, given the fact what we can do with the One True Brush here, we'll take that. Now let's go back to these other guys and do the same with our blending brush. You can see how much paint is coming off of that. Yeah, you can see that. That's what's coming off onto that brush there. Now, of course, the other project that I'm trying to do is to assemble as much of the Ossiarchs as I can, to take leftover Ossiarch bits and then do a create your own Space Marine chapter sort of thing. I also am trying to do those conversions for Royal Guard for my Rohan. So hopefully we can get that going too. Let me see. I believe that's we have a Dick Blick. Oh, you might be able to. Yeah, we have one in Illinois, but it's in Galesburg. Now, on the plus, it's way too far away to ever get to here. But at least being in the state, it means that when you do the free shipping option, it's not going to take 2 weeks to get here. So that's good. Okay, doing a little bit of smoothing here. What does chapter 37 of the Book of Wappel always it says? Things must start out messy before they can be neat. And that's the case here. See how those are starting to smooth out a little bit. You're seeing a little less of the white. We're going to be reintroducing that. But even for as much blending as was going on when we put our phthalo and cobalt and why should maybe... No, I don't have any ultramarine out there. Okay, I think we got... Yep, this one right here. Now this is a very different look to it. I think this one had maybe more of the phthalo and more of the cobalt blue on it. Now let's see... With film noir, this is going to tell us. So, I mean, okay, we see how it's looking. Now, let's see what happens when we take all the color away. Zoom. Now, let's have these guys up here. So, they kind of look, they almost look like ash now. They look a little bit like ash. That's pretty funny. They are so spindly, aren't they? Actually, what I want to see, where is... I haven't seen this guy in a while. In film noir. So again, plenty of color plenty of shading differential, but now let's see ourselves some color here. So we have... First we had value contrast, now we add the color contrast, the intensity contrast, right? That saturation contrast where you have the saturated greens here, and even some saturated browns. And then you've got the cooler greens out here, the duller greens. Yeah, I guess there's, I don't think there's any Dick Blick stores anywhere near us here in Chicago, unfortunately. Yeah, let's get some more of this. That has really been a fantastic resource. I still get, obviously, there's different wooden plaques and other supplies that I can only get at Hobby Lobby because they're the only ones that have them. But Dick Blick really... They're coming through with a lot of fantastic supplies. So that is definitely... Wow, we have nothing on the underside of that. And I know these guys are a little bit bouncy here. Well, nowhere near as bouncy as that one Dark Elf. Remember that Harpy I think that we were trying to paint? That was just a nightmare. I will not be painting any more of those. Alright, so now we've been able to do a little bit of nice cleanup blending here so that we can go back to the rest of the process. Oh, hey, Shoshi, how are you doing? Oh, Shoshi, that is way too far away from us, unfortunately. That it would take us at least 45 minutes, something like that, just to get there. And that hour or two when I can just oh, and also 12% sales tax. Well, I'm sure the sales tax in Schaumburg is not quite like Cook County's, but yeah, I'd much rather just kind of spare the time. Hey, Mozdov, how are you doing? And Willie. Yeah, well, that's we're down by Midway Airport here, so that's just way too far away from it. Well, also, yeah, no vehicle right now, so that's also somewhat of a hindrance. But Zoshi, how are you doing? Oh, and folks, be sure to give Zoshi a follow. Oh, you already probably are, but always double check, because you know what Twitch always does. You think you're following somebody, you are following somebody, but then suddenly Twitch says, no, you're not. And you say, but wait, I was. So definitely give Shoshi the follow. Actually, Shoshi, what have you been doing on your latest couple of streams? I meant to ask that too. Didn't mean to get distracted by the Dick Blick stuff. Although we love Dick Blick for sure. They got some fantastic stuff. Yeah, that now we're getting a little bit of our. See, we're starting to restore some of that dark. We can always kind of go back and grab Mr. Blending Brush, do the stuff. Also going to drop some right over here. Takes a very gentle stroke. You have to kind of line up your brush the right way here. Oh, heck, I'll let a little bit of cerulean get into that, because now it's going to be a little more opaque too, not just changing the color. Ah, the new Lionel Johnson Primark. That's very cool. Now, actually, I think, well, you must have done a stream yesterday, or no, you already did a stream earlier today, didn't you? I think the phone went off saying that you were live, but we had. Oh yeah, that's right. I was still patching garage roofs at the time, so yeah, we didn't quite get to join you on that one. At some point, hopefully, I'll get to be able to join you on a stream. Is there a Bryce in the house? Do we have one here? Where did he? Ah, he did just show up there. Look at that, sneaking in, being all sneaky. Look at that. Let's go back over to this. Did I hit him with the? I don't think we hit him with the blender yet. So let's put him in the blender. Hit him with ye old blending brush. And let's see, yeah, not even 2 hours yet on these guys. And remember, we had that kind of a very unusual, at least for what you usually see here, as far as that pre-glaze goes. The pre-glaze was basically just, well, white. When's the last time you've seen that besides never? I thought that could just be fun for you guys. Something you just have never seen me do before. See, now there's a few less harsh transitions there, but we can swing back around. We can even, heck, I could even make that the lightest part be almost off-white yellow instead of always just the off-white blue. We also have our, well, we still have berry white green out there, but we also have our fluorescent green too. Hey, Sakaya, how are you doing? Well, among the other things that we're doing, we are doing these these little Nighthaunt type things here. But they have to match, see these guys down in the corners, they have to match that blue, because those are some sort of spectral Viking spirits, and that's what these guys are also supposed to be. Not long from now, we're going to get going on this guy right here. This is another Wrath of Kings figure. And we're not going to be doing him in black, but we are. Here we go. So here's another one of his buddies right here. We did this on what was this, Saturday? Yeah, this is part of the Saturday stream session here. So we'll be doing him too. Let's see. Somehow we have two blacks in Minneapolis. Yeah, here, unfortunately, in Chicago, when you are on the opposite side of the town here. If you're lucky in ideal traffic, we could get to Schaumburg in maybe 45 minutes. That's if we go in the middle of the day and hope that there's no construction, no traffic. It can easily become 50 minutes just to get there. And then obviously you've got to deal with massive parking lots and all the craziness that goes with that. So instead of losing at least 2.5 hours of painting time, we just do the internets. And fortunately, they are really, well, at least here they're good about getting that stuff shipped and sent to you. So now we're kind of sharpening up a few edges here. We're picking out a couple of these. Not every single one, just a few. Now we're using our poor man's 000 somewhat sable. I think that's what we should call them, somewhat sables. They're sables, but they're not quite sables. So we'll make that a little lighter. And then Mr. Blending Brush is around here somewheres. We'll grab him. Ah, there we go. So you must have dark to show light, and now we're doing the light to make the darks that much darker without having to make the darks insanely dark. Hey Steiner, how are you doing? Let's see, I have a new game I play when I stream. It's called Outlast the Wappel. That, well, let's just say you better have a stadium pal if you want to do that, because bathroom breaks are not allowed. Yeah, that's why we don't that's why we don't drink any tea on this stream, because that puts the stream into streaming. So yeah, this is a tea-free stream for that very reason. Take Mr. Blending Brush once again. So see, we got that kind of a hard edge there. Edge is now gone. Yeah, Steiner, there's not been much sleep, well, already this week. Because I know that I was still filming a video at 5 o'clock as well. No, it was maybe 4:45 or something like that this morning. I was still filming a video. And then was up early to be answering messages and all other kinds of stuff. So, see that? Look at how that just gets, we're going to do the same right in here. Boom, one brush stroke. Now let's have a second one of these sitting out here handy. And then we're just going to scumble those guys together. Now let's see. When you're on water pills, there is no stopping the stream, that's for sure. Well, I guess, adult diapers. You know, that is the thing to most look forward to as life goes on, is the adult diapers. Which I think maybe that's there has to be some kind of merch for that, for streamers. Some kind of it's part of the stream team or something like that. Your adult diapers that can keep you streaming hour after hour uninterrupted. We'll get some more of this white in here. It also sort of intensifies some of the cobalt in there. I think we're it's okay. I think it was a bit fortuitous that all of these figs, these are all commission figs, all the stuff I did on Saturday's stream, that big old tree man that I just showed you, fortunately the stars have sort of aligned, and a lot of commission things also are things that work perfectly for the theme of the streams, like for Sporktober, which really helps a lot, because when they don't align, that's when things become quite nightmarish. So fortunately, October with spooks and orcs has really worked out well. So that's I thought October was going to be a little bit tougher of a month than it's turned out to be. But thank goodness for October themes, huh? Truck drivers use empty bottles now. When I was doing the construction thing there, we typically used I think it was the wide lid bottles of Squirt. I think that's the name of that soda. Or, well, I guess a Mountain Dew bottle would also do the same thing. Nobody knows the difference. You just maybe want to mark that particular bottle as not for consumption. Unless you're on a really, really long space flight and you're just recycling that anyway. Yeah, let's, there. Now we'll do this same process on the other ones too. I think we could maybe catch a couple of lighter things here on Mr. Skelly Friend. Because we've been doing sort of the interior light source, now we've got to do sort of an exterior light source down here. Yeah, you thought we forgot all about our Skelly Friend. We have not forgotten our Skelly Friend down here. I think it's maybe time to get a few of these lights on him. Not too light. We don't want the projected light to be brighter than the light source. Again, that also contributes to object source shading, which we don't want. Let me see. Prepping some bones. I love me some bones, but almost rather take a shiv to the face than clean mold lines. Yep, those those mold lines can get really brutal on the bone because it's just so darn flexible. The only thing that really works that I've been able to use are the sanding sticks. I don't know if I have some here. I think I've got some. Aha, yeah. These sanding sticks right here that have different grits. They're usually variety packs. And you generally start off with the heavier grits, right? And then I think this is a finer grit right here. Then you would hit them with, actually, these things work great on the plastic stuff too. So you get kind of a twofer with that. So now, see, we've picked up a couple of lights here. And we've got, I think, some of the cobalt. Yeah, we got some of the cobalt blue mixed in with this. So that it doesn't get too white. Oh, what the? Yeah, you know what? I'll hit that other side of the rib. So now that's got a little light. If we turn it over to this side, you see there's a little bit less there. We'll hit the other side now too. Still using our Poor Man's Series 7. Yeah, let's get a couple of lighter things here on this. We could always, I think that at some point we might even do a few little glazes on him too. Probably cobalt blue-ish, something like that. Now I got secondary brush to just do a little bit of blending on that. Okay. I think we're all caught up there. So as I add these things in, now where's one that I haven't really done this to? And you can see, you can really see that that's actually more of a difference than I thought there was going to be. I didn't think it was going to make that much difference. Now, I know that as I've been doing the the super long marathon streams, I do believe that I think I've changed the chair since I first started doing this, and it is definitely more of an office style chair as opposed to just the really horrible chair that I had, so that has actually helped. But I've seen some folks with really, really, really expensive, fancy chairs that must cost a couple $100 for doing their streaming. So yeah, we're dropping a couple more lights over here too. I think that's why I'm looking forward to being able to live stream games of Lord of the Rings and Bolt Action or whatever, because I can be standing. I could be standing and not have to just be kind of sitting hunched over in one place for hour after hour. That could be very fun. Now, of course, I'll be leaning over the table, but I can live with that. Being able to move around, that would be very nice. So we're gonna get some of our lighter tones in his face. Now, what about the eyes here? So we're gonna try and do a little sneaky thing here. Just kind of putting the brush in there and twirling it around a little bit. Let's do the eyes on this one, see what happens. And this one. Ooh, I have to get some. That is one where the larger brush just couldn't reach in there, and I figured that was going to be the case, that I was going to have to go in here to some of these harder to access areas with the smaller brush. Gonna throw some more of the titanium white out here too. Do we have a Jinxed in the house? Oh, actually, for whatever reason, my chat is not... wait a minute here. Sorry, guys. My chat just kind of died there. Hey, Paint Miniatures. Yeah, my chat was doing nothing. So thanks, Paint Miniatures. Let's see. So Loim says has some sanding needles. Hey, Kathy's in the house. Okay. Hey, Jinx, how are you doing? And folks, be sure to give Jinx a follow. Oh, wow. Oh, hey, maybe could you do me a favor and open the door? Because it's getting mighty toasty in here. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys, that I was missing the chat for whatever reason. It was stuck on where it was with the prepping of miniatures. That's why I didn't really answer anybody's stuff, so sorry about that, folks. There she is. Thanks. That will be much better. It was getting really toasty in here. Jinx got a new chair and plan on finishing up painting tonight. Well, that's really, and actually, what was the painting of? Because I don't think I caught your last stream, so I'm way behind on what it is that you're doing. Okay, well, I'll catch you later, Lumberjack. Thanks for hanging out. So, Numbskull, if you actually, if you had something, well, I don't know if you had a question or just if it was just something fun to say, feel free to type it again if you don't mind. Yeah, the chat was stuck like on 20 minutes ago. Oh, it's the blue skull on the skull-shaped panel. That's cool. So, speaking of Halloween, speaking of spooky, skelly things, go watch Jinxed because she does all the skellies. Lots and lots of skellies. I'm just having some serious fun here with me Prussian blue, enjoying the heck out of that. Nah, nope, just lurking. Lurking. Yeah, the words not working so well tonight for whatever reason. Not doing the wordsmith. So now that we've lightened a few things up, we are also going to go back the other way here and find a couple of real nice, sincere areas of dark there. Here too, over here. And just keep in mind, yes, these blues, yes, they're dark, yes, they're real potent, but guess what? They're also going to be super translucent. As long as you just keep that at the front of your mind, everything should be okay. We're going to do some more of that over here. This is the phthalo blue, not using the Prussian blue here. This is our phthalo blue. It's got more red in it. Oh, let me see. Sky, let me ask which blue on the palette is the Prussian blue. That is, can you see where the brush is? So that's over here. This is cobalt blue over here. I think you can see my brush pointing to it. And then along the bottom, there's phthalo blue here, cerulean, and that's our blue-gray, as we like to call it. Well, we like to call it faded ultramarine, but Holbein just calls it blue-gray. And it's one that I never got a chance to make up my... This just is a recent arrival here. Didn't have a chance to use that particular blue when we did our little deck of cards here on our blues. So we're gonna have to be doing some more supplemental videos on reds and blues after doing the original ones of these. The next one though is gonna be about browns, because that's gonna take at least 3 of those. Because it's not just, well, okay, we want to see what does burnt umber look like. We want to see, well, what does it look like combined with these other colors. And you can only do so many of them. You can pretty much only mix, I think it was 7 colors with 5. See? So we're adding a few little darks in there now. So these are they're a little more refinement here. And we'll show you this one compared to some of the other little ghosties in a bit. Yeah. So that's our phthalo blue doing some good work right here. But remember, there's not a lot of paint here. There's comparatively little paint. Now this is a little different. We're switching things up. We have mixed it with some cerulean here, which also is going to enhance that opacity. So see how look at this. So these little wispy things are getting even more wispy now that we're just starting to see it's got to be messy before it can be neat. Or as a certain person, as someone might say, well, what if you change that to it's got to be messy before it can be neat? Now that should be merch for your channel. You're going to have to do something. If you need Nessie merch too. Well, actually, don't you already, you have your, well, you got your logo, but you have one of those kind of avatars, right? Now, as Kathy says, what can brown do for you? There was one point where we were shipping so many packages with UPS. They knew us and the dog very well. They said, man, we should give you some honorary pair of brown shorts. I could style the brown shorts for sure. Was it you that said the enemy of good is the better? Better is the enemy of good. Yes, better is the enemy of good. And I think we also added that perfection is the enemy of completion. I believe that should actually be, that's got to be in the Book of Wappel. Yes, we'll put that in there too. Perfection is the enemy of completion. And I think, didn't we had a conversation about that, I think, right, in the last stream? You know, I'm going to have to put some more of the Prussian blue out here. It's so new, I never even had a chance to made a label yet. The enemy of good is better. It, all kidding aside, it really is. Because how many times, well, I'm going to do this one more. Oops. Yeah, so there's that. There's always that. You say, oh, just this one more thing. Or that's just this one more thing becomes hours and hours of just pain and suffering. So yeah, that sometimes you just gotta say, good enough. Well, not sometimes, all the time. And you end up, if you try and make it better, you make it worse. Actually, I realize that they all kind of are touching on the same thing, but I don't think we can have too many of those types of sayings. The more you try and make it, the more you try and improve it, the worse you're going to make it. Oh, yeah, let's get some more dark up here on his, well, forehead, I suppose. If spirits and spooks have foreheads. Oh, Zyko, is there any way to unlock any? They're always the army painting episodes. Those are always just Patreon videos right there. Now you can actually see, they're on the YouTube channel. I do have a YouTube live where I was painting one of the Easterlings. Oh, and we did this one. We painted this one on a stream. Now this was in oils, but we painted this one on a stream not too long ago. I think it was last week. So something like that. Now, if you're already part of the Patreon page, those actually you should have those links already, because I send all the links. If you do the Army Painting Pledge, you get all the old ones, which is why, like as Nessie knows, when you do that Army Painter Pledge, you get basically 7 years worth of tutorials, which at this point, Nessie, I think you heard, we have confirmed it's over 300 videos. Well, look at this. We got a Drew in the house. So, folks, be sure to give Drew the follow. Were you streaming last night? I could swear that I got a notification for you streaming last night. And if you were, I'm sorry that I missed that. Oh yeah, Zeko, that's so we're on, where's my, so the Necrons are series 21, and I think the Easterlings are what, series 3, but when you sign up for the Patreon page, you get all 21 series. And if you're doing the Army Painter Pledge, you get all 45 of the Dark Sword videos. I have, was that 54? No, I just did the 55th. Yeah, so this is the 55th on the workbench session. Our Nazgul and our Witch King and Fellbeast, that's going to be, I believe, our 6th or 7th diorama painting video. Let's make this one darker here. If we make, oh, look at that. There we go. So I could only do so much with the bigger brushes, but that's why we start out with the bigger brushes and then migrate down to these smaller ones here. Yes, and get your war grips. Oh, just a brief test. Okay. because, well, you know me and never knowing what day it is. And I went, wait a minute, how did I just lose 2 days? So you actually had me looking at a calendar to make sure that it wasn't Tuesday. Because folks, the usual typical time of streaming for Drew is going to be Tuesdays and those Thirsty Thursdays. You don't want to miss the Thirsty Thursday with Drew. So look at all the fun, darker things we're starting to add here. Let's make that shoulder just a pinch darker. I think, yeah, we're using our Prussian blue now, but let's do a little bit of blending here too. Let's do some blending here. Oh, that is just so much fun. To see those sharp edges absolutely just go away. To see the brush strokes go away. It's like you're just banishing brush strokes here. It's like magic. The brush strokes all go away. Oh, let's see. Spider even just tried oil painting on a miniature. I'll have to do some new bottles. The current one's a bit too thin. Oh, let's see. Let's see. Zeely, you're gonna have to give me a. You'll have to give me a little assist there on pronouncing your screen name, unless you don't mind if I make my own modified version of it, which can be fun too. So that we've been working on 3 of these here. We started these a couple hours ago, and we're moving those along. Once those are done, then we're going to hit this guy right here, and he will look, I think we're going to do a black wolf here. So we did this one, it's the same from Wrath of Kings here. So what we're going to do is, just like we did this one on Saturday, we're going to get, I don't know, sort of a shaman type of a guy. And I think we'll give him the black horse treatment. So we'll have lots of different, like we did on our ring wraith here, lots of different colors in our black. Just going to get something to drink real quick. That's better. All right, let's, I think this is the one that we were working on. So what we're going to do is now bring this one more up to speed with that one. Back into our white here. And this is pretty dry at the moment. I haven't added any kind of extra thinner to it. And I can see, well, we're going to be doing some extra blending here as we go back into this too. Yeah, and some of these areas may not have, I know there's a couple where I just, with that bigger brush and how these things are all intertwined with each other, just couldn't get the brush in there. So this is a combo of lightening those areas, but then also getting a little extra blending going in there too. Oh, do we need, yeah, let's get some more light into here. Now this is a bit thinned down. I did add some thinner to that, mostly because I needed it to flow in there. But see, we've got a nice hard edge right there. See that edge? Edge control is a thing. Yeah, I'm going to see if I can't move this in one close. Ah, there we go. Do you just try thinner? Oh, yeah, like Numbskull says there, Spiderhaven, I don't use mineral spirits. I know for some folks that they have a hard time maybe getting just the thinner, but either, now if you're in the US, this should be really easy to get. You just order it on Amazon, or you can get it at a Michael's. Now if you're in the UK or Europe or whatever, this was what I originally started with because this is what I had. So it's from Migamo. This should be widely available in Europe, no problem. Now, to me, I like the Mona Lisa stuff a little bit better To me, it seems even more gentle on the paints. And there's just no smell to it whatsoever. Oh, and I mean, this is how I'll use this for days. That's a cover of a milk jug there. That's it. And there is your link to, is that the Amazon link right there? Oh no, that's the Michaels link. I'm gonna have to, I don't know if it's any cheaper on Michaels or not, but I might have to get some for, it's just lately on Amazon it's been a little bit difficult. It's not difficult to find, it's just that the shipping time is longer. And it's like, wait a minute, why is that going to take 2 weeks to ship even though it's in stock? So I think I'll just do the Michaels thing maybe. There we go. Let's get some lighter stuff in here. Oh, gee whiz, yes. Yes, let's get that lighter. Oh, and then we're going to add some, we need to add some lighter stuff on our skelly friend too, just like we did on the other one. I mean, we did a lot of stuff with those bigger brushes, but now this is where we start to mess around with our smaller one. Oh, let's get some brighter stuff here. And now, do I need to go darker here first? Well, let's try doing something lighter first. We'll start with this, and if that's too light, we can always tone it down with a glaze of something. Yeah. Wow, okay. We'll definitely brighten all this up. So it's at $12.99 for 32 ounces. That's a really good price. Actually, that is better than a lot of the Amazon prices I've been seeing. Yeah, you know, we need to get a little bit of blue into this here. That's better. Ah, much better. I think we had plenty of the Van Dyke Brown in there. Not quite enough of the Prussian blue. I think this is the first one that we did. And weren't quite sure what to expect from the Prussian blue. We'll continue adding some of these lighter areas here as we move our way down. And we'll get a couple more lights on again our skeleton here. Oh, let's get his rib cage over there. Now this. Where's my cobalt here? There's some cobalt blue. It's interesting how that, I don't want to say it turns purple by comparison, but comparison to the, say our brand new Prussian blue, that cobalt is so red by comparison. It's not really red at all, but just in comparison. Yep, the 40%, the one time, well, we did learn the hard way never to use the 40% off coupon to get the gigantic container of the, like 10 pounds of Sculpey. Because we always, we would get the 10 pounds of Sculpey thinking, this is great. Only to find that a lot of times those 10-pound things of Sculpey, because they have a tendency to sit around the store for a while, would be a wee bit stale, to say the least. or if we didn't use it all. That's the other thing too, is you don't really want Sculpey sitting around forever. If you put it in plastic bags, that seems to actually help. If you seal that in plastic bags, I know it worked with Daz air dry clay. It worked wonders with the air dry clay. So that's pretty much what I do now when I have Sculpey coming in. Hey, Valendar the Red, how are you doing? So folks, definitely be sure to give Valendar the follow because, well, 3D sculpting and all that. Oh, geez, Drax, I meant to ask what you would be working on tonight. I asked you if you were doing the stream thing, but then forgot to ask you what you would be working on. So sorry about that. Because I know you kind of have the back and forth between the projects, letting some things dry, getting on to another thing, swing back around to the other project. I need to, gee whiz, need to put some more of the titanium white out there, I guess. So let's do that if we can actually find that, wherever that might have gone. There it is. Oh, let's see, just want to bet with a friend. He claimed my resin printer only made more hobby work for me because I printed more and more figures. I'll be printing the 3D bases for the miniatures. Okay. Now this is a touch lighter here. Oh, I'm going to have to get way down into there with this lighter color. Okay. Oh, geez, we need to do that here too, and then we need to let this mix. Oh, same thing here too. We'll take advantage of what we've got here and lighten it up on that side and on this side and over here too. So there was a little bit of roughness. I could see some little variations in the brush strokes, and now there's just nothing. It's all gone. It's all been cleaned up, all blended together. Oh, let's see. Voice is looking at buying a 10-piece Wind Starter set. The two that I really enjoy the most is Indigo and where's my Terra Rosa? Yeah, that if you say, okay, you can only have two other things besides what's in the 10, these are the two that I would like, because these just, for whatever reason, I call these the Swiss Army paints, because these two can just do everything. They literally do everything. And they're not expensive either. They're maybe not the cheapest colors. You know, they're not maybe the $6 tubes or something like that. But I think they're only 8 or 9. They're not super expensive. They can certainly do things that other colors cannot, that cost a whole bunch more than those do. So I think if you're just looking for a couple, those two really will help you out. They'll let you do so much, just those two colors. Now there's a bunch of other ones too that would be useful. I think some of the, like a diazonine purple. Well, if you're getting Winsor Newton, it'd be diazonine purple. What's the Williamsburg one? Egyptian violet. That's a third one I would suggest. And I don't think diazonine purple is very expensive either. But that would be in Gamlin and, oh gosh, Winsor Newton. Because Drax was able to hunt down, he looked at the pigment numbers and he said, yep, the diazonine purple and that are basically the same pigment numbers. Yeah, now of course the Wintons, those are, oh gosh, They call them, what, student grade or something like that. I mean, I used them for years, not even realizing that those were student grade. So clearly they were okay, and I'm still using them today. I'm fairly certain that the yellow ochre that I have is just out of the starter set. So those are fine, especially for what you're doing, and as long as it's not some kind of absolute no-name brand that's $5 for 30 of them, that's not going to go too well. But I think that you can definitely work with the Wintons, especially for that price. Okay. Maybe we'll go up to the third one in just a jiffy here. I think we've managed to kind of bring this one up a little bit more to speed. Where's my blending brush here? No, I might get just a little bit more. Get this a little lighter. Let's make that lighter. Yeah, let's just do that. There we are. I think that's going to make a little more sense if that's lighter than darker. Oh, let me see. Okay, I think we're... Oh, Biggs bought a couple of the Graham paints on sale to try them out. That's a couple of people, they've talked about the walnut oil. Well, I guess you'll have to let me know what happens. Now, I know there's been a couple of folks, they've tried to use like linseed oil for instead of the usual thinners and that sort of thing, and 3 weeks later they're still waiting for stuff to dry. I don't know if anybody they've experimented with the walnut oil or not and found if there's any difference in the drying time or if it's shorter or longer. Let's see, Sky King. Oh, okay, that's playing back and forth. I think we're all good then. You know what, I will get this a little lighter here and a little... I'm just trying to build in some more fun things here. Where's a blending brush here? Ooh, let's blend some of this up here too. I can see some rougher edges there, and for the heck of it, I'm just going to lighten this too. It's almost like Celtic knotwork, or it's like reverse Celtic knotwork. It's the under is lighter, the over is darker. Let's see, I've used walnut oil. It's drying tones the same as linseed, and it yellows the... Yeah, so oh gosh, is it safflower oil that's the stuff that tends to make things, or is it the linseed oil? One of the two. I think it might be linseed oil tends to yellow things, and safflower oil doesn't quite have that, but it has a longer drying time. I can never remember the two. I mean, to me, it almost really doesn't matter because, well, let's say it's my Egyptian violet / diazonine purple, whatever is in there, whether it's safflower or linseed or both, I'm kind of stuck with whatever they put in there. I'm certainly not going to be adding any myself. But what I am adding under here is some more of my lighter tones there. Oh, let's see. Safflowers in your titanium, but I don't know if I can. Can I even get to my? I can't really get to it. I'm just going to pick up a random one here, so that must be phthalo green. It has both. It seems like the vast majority of them have both. Yeah, I mean, that's yellow ochre. Yeah, that has both. I was surprised at how many had both of them, actually. It's supposed to yellow less over time. Yeah, that's the... And I know people get, for whatever reason, they get really angry when I just say, okay, yeah, if it yellows 30 years from now, or 40 or 50 years from now, you may not even be around to see that. So I'm sure have no intention of being around when that happens. So I just don't care. But for whatever reason, people get really upset. I don't know what. Well, I think if people aren't upset, they're not happy. But yeah, I know people have said, "Oh, Dr. Martin's dyes, those are transient." I've got watercolor paintings in every room of the house, and each and every one of them has Dr. Martin's dyes on it, and is just as good as it was today as it was in the mid-90s when I first painted them. So let's see, yeah, I know a lot of people, they'll say, well, what do you do to make them dry faster? And I'll just say I use acrylics. I have to use acrylic. I was just using acrylics on that tree man because it all had to be done in the same video if I wanted to be able to put those. That's one thing that doesn't work too well is flock and oil paints while the oil paints are wet. Otherwise, it's going to look like a chia pet. So we'll just do this here, do a little bit more of our blend. Oh yeah, let's blend that too. Okay. Good, now let's move to the third one here because we've got these two where we kind of insert. Well, we'll do some additional darks on this one too, but I'm going to get to the third one here real quick. Oh geez, let's get some more of our lights in here too. Okay. And yeah, well, besides, you have to keep collecting more miniatures anyway. You'll have so many miniatures. By then, you won't even remember what you were painting. I try to remember things that I painted a week ago, and I can't remember what I painted a week ago. Actually, I sometimes have a hard time remembering what I painted yesterday. I know I'm painting these right now. Beyond that, yeah, there's not really much I'm going to remember. Let's do some more of our lights up in here too. Let's get some. Oh my goodness, yeah, I can still see some primer over here. Not totally unexpected. I was expecting to have to come back in here and fill in some of these areas. You do what you can with the bigger brushes, and then you just migrate down to the smaller one. Oh, thanks, Echo. I will shoot you the links later tonight, so expect an email. And I will be sending you a big email with all the links. And thanks so much for doing that, too, by the way. Now, the first set of links that you'll see, obviously, are going to be the Army Painter ones. And it basically goes Series 1, Series 2, the Winter Soviets. I think Series 3 the Easterlings. I think Series 3 was the Easterlings, and it just goes from one series to the next. Then the next batch that you'll see will be the Dark Sword, the Painting Dark Sword link. So now this is the most recent one right here. So this is Painting Dark Sword 45. And obviously we have a strong red theme right there. And we were playing off of this. Now this is another one. This is in the general technique section. And this should be kind of, I think, towards the top of that. So we did a whole thing of color chart. Let's get this turned right side up here. There we go. So we tried a bunch of different reds, and then we tried those same reds on that figure. And then, like I said, after the Dark Sword, then you get into your general techniques, basing, all that kind of stuff. But wait, there's more, because after all of that, stuff, then you get into the old painting pyramid videos. And those were the first videos that we made 7 years ago, almost 8 years ago now, as part of the Painting Pyramid Kickstarter. And those are kind of interesting because you get to see, well, how things were done years ago and how that compares to today, how some things are very much exactly the same as today. Like I'm still using the same number 8 round craft brushes all these years later. So thanks again for the subscription. That really does help a whole bunch. And there is another one that after I am, that one with the tree man, I will be uploading that whenever the session ends here tonight. And hopefully that won't take too long, but that will be the next video that, so you'll get notifications from Patreon that a new video is available to you, but you'll also get just a notification that I posted something, because sometimes maybe people don't necessarily see the email with the link. Then maybe they might see the Patreon alert that says, oh, a new video is posted. And again, that means it does mean a lot, because all of this army painting stuff that I'm doing, where I try so many different techniques, like on the Osiarchs where I'm trying that interference blue. If it wasn't for the Patreon page, I would just be doing only commission figures 100% of the time, which is fine, but there'd be no way I could test anything. I would just be doing that stuff just to get that done. Now I think we could we're gonna get a little bit more of a. I think we did it with the other two. Yeah, we haven't done it with this guy yet. He just happens to be a little bit brighter than the other ones. He kind of fooled me a bit. We're going to thin this down now, because if we want it to stick, it's not just that we want it in a tighter area, we also want it to stick over the paint that's there, and the paint that's there is clearly thicker, because you see how that's stuck. See how that's stuck right there? If the paint is the same consistency, there's a better chance that it's just going to, I don't want to say wipe off, but it's just not going to stick the way you would like it to. So you have to be aware of your consistency, but the miniature will tell you right away. It will immediately let you know if you need to make that paint thicker or thinner. Try and paint something there. If it sticks, yay. If it doesn't, well, guess I better change the consistency a little bit. Because that's for the longest time, gosh, it was for a few years, all the armies were going away. Had no armies to do anything with, and thanks to the army painting stuff, all of a sudden we're starting to replace those armies, which then gave me a reason to start making terrain again, because heck, almost 10% of the painting pyramid videos were terrain. I love my terrain. And you'll definitely see a lot of okay, there's a dark sword episode, then there's a basing episode, then there's a diorama episode. And I try, as best as I can, I try to rotate around through all the different things as we make this lighter too. So it's right there next to where it's darker, also making it lighter there. There are certainly plenty of object source lighting videos. I think there's definitely several on blue object source lighting. There's a bunch on green. I know there's even a couple on magenta. There's ones on multiple light sources. See, here's another area that also needs, yeah, replenish, rebuild, repaint. And that's kind of what we're doing. We're doing that with all of our lovely Lord of the Rings stuff. Well, we're doing it with the Ossiarchs because, well, the Tomb Kings, well, first GW made them go away, and then they were all sold off, and now they're sort of back again. Only this time I have the oils to paint them with, and as you can see just how easy it makes all of this here to do. Let's see, a great reference picture for some terrain you stumbled across. Oh, definitely send me that. You know me. Our moderator also will send me terrain pictures that he either takes himself or really neat stuff that he finds. And I try to look at those things, and it's okay. How could I do this as some sort of a tutorial, or using the materials that I have, replicate this type of terrain? Alright, these fingers right here, they need, oh yeah, they need a whole bunch more. They need a lot more of everything here. As always, the blind blending, we just call it blind blending for the oil paints. I'm just shoving this brush in here, and whatever way I push it, I know it's going to blend with whatever's underneath there, because I can see it. Look at it's all dark, so I know that there was blending going on. Exactly what was being blended, I don't really know, but it was something. Something is better than nothing. I think we will get, oh, what the heck, let's play with a little bit of the cobalt blue. I might even, yeah, now here I've thinned it down, which is interesting. You say, wait a minute, that's already kind of a translucent paint. Now you're thinning it down? Yeah, it actually covers better when it's thinned out. Well, first of all, it's sticking, but it has some intensity to it as a color, so, which is, again, this is sort of the opposite thing that happens with acrylics, right? With acrylics, if you thin it down, you are not going to get as juicy of a color. You will mostly just get, well, juice. We'll get some, oh yeah, look at this. It's amazing. It really is. Consistency-wise, though, as I do that, it is so much like the cobalt violet. I kind of thought, well, maybe it's the violet pigments that they added to it. That's what changed the consistency from what I thought it should be, or at least, you know, from watercolors to oils. But no, the cobalt blue has a lot of the same properties to it. So now we've made that is much darker. We'll go back with something that's a little lighter now. Now there is another one. I don't know. I think this was before I learned how, or learned that you can do highlights that are your full session. But it's on the YouTube channel. Where are you? So if you want to see more blue, well, there's this Mantic Ice Elemental guy right here. So all blue, kind of, but very angular, all faceted, unlike our smooth, swirling, our haunts, our night haunts right here. So you can check this one out. This has much more of the ultramarine in it, that I know. Also doesn't have, well, our brand spanking new Prussian blue. Now I think I'm gonna have to add some more dark on the face here. It's gonna be a little bit on the delicate side. What about right there? And let's go with our brush that has some of the darker stuff, like our cobalt blue, which is really, I'm looking at on the palette compared to the other blues, just not so dark. Now we want some blue that's dark. Well, we got it right here with some phthalo blue. That'll be nice and dark. Wow. Boom. Yep, that's dark. We'll just get the ends of his fingers here. That really punches those. I'm going to get a little bit of that here too, and I think, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's just get some more of it over here too. But a little more wispy. It's not quite the where we're really pegging away at it. Now this is actually a bit of a mix between the cobalt blue and that phthalo blue. Now the cerulean blue, that is a way to sort of increase the opacity a little bit on these guys, but without lightening it too much. In fact, it really doesn't lighten it much at all. Because otherwise, you add white to it, well, now you're going to really pump up that opacity and make it lighter, which is maybe not what you want to do. I'm going to use this little brush here, and again, it's another area here where I just could not get at it with the bigger brush, which is fine. That's why we have smaller brushes. And it is very easy to blend in those areas too. That in acrylics, that would be super tough. That would be really tough because I would have to be fighting here just past all of this kind of stuff and trying to see, okay, that's my one layer of acrylic. Now I got to do another layer and then another layer. And now we're going to do it. We're going to thin this down. This is back to our Prussian blue here. Do I need to... no, I'm not going to mess with the knife, dagger, whatever he's got in his hand. Yeah, we'll get this darker too. It's going to enhance all the fun lighter colors that we added here. It's mixing too. It's wet into wet after all. But still using that light brush stroke, and we have not forgotten our blending brush. And that's very minimal. You see, we just a few areas. That's all we did. Hit a couple of areas, that's all. And I'm going to go right in here. So that is, see, that's not quite so thin. That's a little bit thicker. And now look at what we're going to do here. We're going to just scumble the edge of this. So we're not just doing this all the time. So we plop that color in, and then we just sort of scumbled it back and forth either way. Apparently that's just a brushstroke that never really gets talked about very much, because a lot of times when I say scumbling, people say, what does that mean? What does that mean? Oh, let's get this. Oh, yeah. Look at this. We got two things that are exactly the same. We either got to lighten this up or darken the other thing, or maybe both. We'll start out by lightening this up first. See what happens. So now we already got separation there. Oh, look at that. See, there's a nice little edge right there, but look at that wispy thing. It was just one brushstroke. Boom. Now I'm just going to leave it instead of... Because the temptation is to do this. I see this all the time. This is what I see, which, okay, yeah, that's sort of blending, but that's on the way to getting mud right there. That is literally on the road to Mudhenge. And we don't want Mudhenge. We don't want that. Let's hit the ends out here. Make those darker too. Now I think I've done this on the other two already, this part of the process. There's still more we can do with this, but I might also move on over very soon to the... Oh, and someone actually mentioned what the Wrath of Kings wolf guys were yesterday, or Saturday. And I've already forgotten what the heck they are. And they mentioned them. And of course, it is just completely... I've spaced on that, unfortunately. Sky's clear in the house. Oh, it should be good to blend hours from now. Now, it all depends on how thin that was placed and maybe the other colors around it and such. But easily hours from now, at least 2 hours from now, I should still be able to go back there and blend it. But the nice thing is, when I go to blend it, the paint's not going to tear away. Because I think that happens with a lot of folks, is they're excited about that idea of blending something, and they just want to get to it right away. And the next thing you know, they've either made mud or they've torn off the paint that was there. Now here, you can see we took this, we did that little circular scumbling brushstroke, and you can see that's all blended in there nicely. Part of it is because there's just not a lot of paint there. So when folks are getting started out, there just tends to be an awful lot of paint sitting there. Just, well, way too much. And that's where they just will run into problems. But I mean, anytime you're doing something new, definitely in the excited mud camp. It really is. I know we joke all the time about Treebird says don't be hasty, but it really matters. It really does. Because the temptation is clear. It's just like, the candy bar is sitting right there on the counter. There is nobody in the house. It's just sitting right there. And it's such a great candy bar, and you want to eat that thing. But you go to eat it and you think nobody's going to know, and then somebody walks in the house and you've got an empty wrapper sitting on the table in front of you, you've got chocolate all over your face, and now people are like, what did you do? And that person who caught you will be you, of course, because you'll be not super happy at what just happened. Now it's a case of where, again, the white was there. And now we can see how we can just kind of play at the edges of that and blend that into what's already here. The other thing that helps with patience, of course, well, work on 3. You're working on 1, why not bring in 2 more? After all these years with struggling with the don't join the mud camp. I guess we what was the show, not it was well, Serenity was the movie, but didn't they have, that was the planet where they had the mutters or something like that? Yes, you don't want a statue erected to yourself. Oh, Firefly, that's it. Didn't they erect a statue to Jane or whatever? He was the hero of whatever, and they had a song about him or something like that. So yeah, look at the actual striations added in there. At first I was thinking, maybe these guys won't be quite so much fun. I think because I was trying to do the Wild West Exodus ones. Those are the last spell effects that I did in blue. And those were nowhere. I mean, I hated doing those. This is so much more fun because all of this flowing stuff here, using the oils on that is a black. Oh, so Drax, I meant to ask what is the thing that you're going to be working on tonight, because I know you have to rotate the projects. Just okay, this has to dry, we're going to move to this, we got sub-assembly here, we move over to this, and I know there's been a lot of simultaneous projects going on. Oh, so Necrons, okay. These aren't the 40 additional warriors that you got, were they? Because I know that was a big part of the plan, was to tack on 40 more of those guys. Oh, a new heavy destroyer. No, Kathy might have. I think we all start in the mud camp. I think it's inevitable. I guess it's just how long you stay in the mud camp. Maybe that's the difference. You don't want to be a permanent mudder, I suppose. Oh, one of those. The new heavy destroyers. That is. I'm gonna have to get me some of those too. Do they have they still have sort of that kind of carapace like the old ones, right? I mean, probably not the same size. Where the heck is it? That's not the one I'm looking for. We'll grab this one here. Because how would they still have kind of some kind of carapace like that? Because I love doing my freehand on that. So half scarab. It looks a lot. Yeah, these guys just kind of look like he's like hanging out. He's like, yeah, I got donuts. Anybody want donuts? Actually, I want donuts. Now we're back to the hungry thing again. So here, remember we did that little line. So we're gonna go on the other side of that. And look at what we just did. Look at we made that. It looks now like a flame. We just needed to complete the other side of that. And so a half scarab. And I assume it's a individual destroyer box. It's not a box of 3 or something like that. Unless I could be totally wrong, which I'm sure I am. I actually would expect to be wrong. Because I'm way behind on all things 40K. Well, I'm way behind on all things GW that aren't Lord of the Rings. Now, this also needs to get darkened down here. Lemon-filled donuts. Oh, and I did look again. Well, of course, this was Sunday. Was it Sunday that I went over to the store? They had a lemon meringue pie, or they had some kind of, or was it maybe it was a key lime pie? Maybe it was a key lime pie, I think. Our Inner Excellence suggests strawberry ice cake donuts, which well, I don't say no to donuts no matter what. I certainly would not say no to that, especially if I got to put ice cream, magic shell, and whipped cream on top of that. Because that's putting the cake in the cake donut right there. This one, sometimes when in doubt, simplify, because I looked at it this way here and see if it kind of emerged this way here, because some of the lighter color was on that side. I had to just sort of take that out. Yes, there's a certain person in the household here that really does like key lime pie. So if that's still there, and if that is what I thought it was, that maybe that's got to come home with me tomorrow. Okay, this is another area here. We just got a bunch of weird, kind of slightly white color. So I'm just going to darken that down and simplify that. I'm going to come back in here. And I will just scumble away. So I just had to simple. There's a bunch of different things going on in too small of an area. And stuff like this is really going to be prone to trying to do too much in too small of a space. Too small of a space. Because these guys, they are pretty darn spindly. At least they're not like the Nighthaunts that I see that are bouncing around. Oh, Seiko, thank you so much. Here, we will do the toast with that. We're going to catch it all here. See, that big glass can catch way more. Oh, we can't catch the off-camera stuff. Thank you so much for the subscription. That is appreciated. Now, here's some of that white that we just kind of slapped on there. Well, let's push this around now. And we'll go right, there we go. So now that doesn't look like just, we can leave a sharper edge over here, that's okay. But it can't be just a sharp edge everywhere, that's just going to be a blob. Here's another one, remember we set that one over here? Let's move that just a smidge, which is about 1/4 of a bit, which is a little bit less than a smudge. Oh, we got Sarge says in the house. How you doing, Sarge? Yeah, Kathy definitely wanted her banana cream pie, but they didn't have any there. So we might just have to go with the key lime, which I think that's a tragedy that can be accepted. Let me see. Oh, hey, D. Marino, how are you doing? Welcome in. So what was it? About 3 hours, 20 minutes ago, we just started these guys up, and we have been letting them evolve along the way here. So how are you doing? I hope all is well. We're also trying out a new color that I just haven't had a chance to mess with yet, and that is our Prussian blue here that we got in the last fabulous gambling sale on Dick Blick. Which the other thing that Dick Blick has going on now, they have sort of the relatives of the one true brush that are, was it 30 brushes for 18 bucks? And we'll have to give those a try and see just how close are they to the one true brush. It's a nice range of sizes, which should be really interesting. I'm kind of looking forward to that. And oh, actually, well, I think Kathy's going to be continuing her pumpkins, her gobbo pumpkins tomorrow on her stream, which, well, she'll be probably hitting the sack soon, so she can be nice and awake for her stream tomorrow. I'm going to get a couple of lights on the blade right here. Yeah, on this side, boom. Maybe even, oh, yeah, yes, let's get some lighter stuff going on down here too. Holy smokes, can't have that. Now let's now the original One True brush. Well, actually, Armored Wolf has links to both of them, but they're just the Hobby Lobby craft brushes. What else? What else? So I'm just gonna tone that one down. Ooh, what about the back side of this? Yeah. Again, there's some areas here. It was really, really tough to get at that with the bigger brush, but well, now we've got our poor man's Series 7s. We can work with these. Here, let's get that a touch bright. Look at how much brighter we can get in there. So that looks very light until you get an actual light color in there, and then you're just like, oh, okay, yeah. We've done well establishing our dark. Now we're going to take that. This is where we're just going to push that around. See that scumbling brush stroke that we're doing there? Scumbling for the win. And there we go. Our intrepid moderator with the link, doing the linky thing. Thank you so much. So Sarge, yeah, I know that you've had all kinds of hobby interruptions here. Now, is that pretty much since ReaperCon? Actually, here it's been interrupted. It hasn't been. I guess you wouldn't say hobby interruptions. There's been lots of activity since ReaperCon. That's for sure. Do we have Welsh Gamer Guy back? Hey, Welsh Gamer Guy, how are you doing? How are you doing? Now, well, you were definitely around when we were. Where's my wolf guy? Where the heck did he go? You were around when we were painting Mr. Wolfie here. So we have another one of those that we will be painting up tonight here. So yeah, we'll be painting up this guy. Now here, I have to decide, do I want this to be lighter or dark? I'm tempted to go dark. I got the lighter color. I'm just gonna see what happens. See how much lighter we can make that. And we are going to take this, and once again, we are going to scumble for the win. We are not doing this. It's like a combination of stipple and that little twisting stroke. See how that just blended that out real nice? It started just before Adepticon. I have to manage to get one. Yes, one figure. Oof. That is definitely Interruptus Maximus on the hobbyists there. We don't like that. Well, I do hope that maybe at a certain point, I mean, I know how much you love painting your figures and stuff. I suppose, well, let's just, oh yeah, really liking that. I'm glad we went with the lighter stuff there. If the stars align and you can actually start painting, is there just a project that you say, okay, I've got to get back into this? Now, guess what? This can be a lot lighter too. See that? See how much lighter that can be? We'll make this lighter too. Oh yeah, we're getting some fun lights happening in here now. but any brush can be a blending brush. And that's what we're going to do here. And see, we just blended all those areas together. Yeah, it's most gamer guy. It's amazing how you can just kind of short circuit that whole, oh my gosh, I have to layer, all this other stuff. And then the oils just come along and it's like, just place that one color and mix it with other stuff around it and be done. And I think what happens too with the oils after you've played with them a while and you get used to that blending stuff, the real magic, then the real magic starts to happen. Because the blending stuff, that's kind of the low-hanging fruit of the oils. What's really the fun stuff is when you say, you know what, I'm going to take this bright red and this crazy green and I'm going to stick them right next to each other and I'm going to blend those two together. That is when that's when the oils have really arrived for you. When you just start taking weird colors, just mixing them together and go, yeah, whatever, I'll do that, no problem. That's when you know you've really started to maximize the effectiveness of those oils. So see that? Look at this. Got all these little wispy things in here. Speaking of which, we got, oh yeah, see, we've got another weird little hard edge there, which we're gonna simplify. We will simplify. So you can see that that's hard edge. And in just a second, that went from a very hard edge to an imperceptible edge. A couple seconds, right? That's all. Blending with acrylics, you need so many layers. Oh, you can lose details sometimes. It's the, what was the one? Now this was early on. This might have even been a stream in April or something. And you can, this is on the YouTube channel now. This is where I just took a bunch of different greens, that magenta, took all that stuff, mixed it, just plopped it on there, and just started pushing that around. Let's see, Sarge says that was the plan with the Necrons, but I really want to get started. Ooh, what are some of the STL files that you've got? Because there's a lot of neat ones out there, aren't there? Let's see. I haven't even seen a ritual casting in person. I would love those. RNS Studios now is doing STLs. Well, heck, I guess Raging Heroes is doing STLs now, which I think at some point they're just going to ditch the trying to cast things and just do STL files. I think they would probably have a much easier life doing that. There we go. See, it's another little, bringing out that detail right there. We got another thing with nothing happening here. So I'm going to start with a little bit of lighter. And then grab some phthalo. Now this is also, it's pretty thick. Okay, that's just essentially right out of one of my containers. Oh, look at that. Look at that. I gotta darken this up a little. Yeah, I will darken that up. No, not that. Not that. This could use something here. Maybe not quite this dark. I also have a little cerulean here. A wee touch of the cerulean. And because that is a more opaque color, as a mid-tone, that'll cover nicely there. Oh, let's see. Titanfall. Oh, RNS Studio. Oh, I haven't heard of Heroes Infinite. I do have some single file. Okay, is that no? Are the RNS Studio?
Little hobbits, spark my gum.
Thank you so much, Nuna Pereira, for the follow. That's appreciated. Are the RNS Studios? Are those are pre-supported too? They gotta be. Everything's pre-supported nowadays, I think. Rex's 3D printers is way off. Oh, Numbskull's got Loot Studios. I haven't heard. Oh, and Mini Monster Mayhem. You know, I've never actually looked at their stuff. I've probably seen it, but just I've never I've seen it, but don't realize that I've seen it. But the arch-villain stuff is pretty special. I really do like that. Ah, look at that. See, that's kind of a mid-tone right there. Boom. Ah, Sarge has that. Well, let's say the Artisan Guild. Okay, that's good. Oh, okay. Thanks, Zara. But those must be pre-supported. I mean, does anybody do not pre-supported stuff anymore? Now, there could be differences in the quality of the supporting, so I guess there's that. But yeah, the Raging Heroes, as far as their cast figures go, eek. So it would be really nice if their STO files were good, because... Oh, yeah, thanks again, Zira. That was something, as soon as you said that, I said, oh, yes. Oh, let's see. Numbskull Mini Monster Mayhem is a ton of dragons. That's one of those things. Yeah, Numbskull, you've heard us talking about the, trying to lock down printing those bigger files yet. So, ugh, gosh. Amongst the bazillion other things that I have to try and do, I have to try and get that printer going again. Now we're combining here I almost call it cadmium blue. Ah, now I know why, because that's like the most opaque blue. Just like, well, cadmium red, most opaque red, outside of Fanchon red. Ooh, see, that's nice. That is nice. I've been waiting a little while to get to that. I've been waiting a while to get to that. Now, let's see. Zeros is most hip pre-supports. Quite a few have hired Yesick, and he's... the folks that maybe they're not really into the miniatures very much, or really don't know much about the 3D printing, I say you realize that there are folk, and they have, what are these supports? And I say, well, they're pretty darn important, because I know at least 2 people who make their living off of making supports, like Yesick and his team there. Let's see, painting the AVG Colib diorama. Oh, that sounds pretty good there, Zara. Will says there's a dragon rider with a dragon called Erebos. I haven't bought 3D. Oh, okay. I don't know. Well, I've had some companies send me 3D prints, and they've come with missing parts. Now, this is not like Etsy pages or something like that. These are 3D sculptors who want me to paint their stuff, and it's like, well, it's kind of missing some pieces. Now, I think as much of that has to do with them trying to ship it and not really factoring in that 3D resin can be really brittle and really fragile. Oh, that's another consideration. Yeah. That is another consideration. Now, I'm sure at some point, and it may even come down to me learning how to do supports and then just putting extra supports. I think we were talking about that not that long ago in a recent session about me, or someone just says, yeah, I just put extra supports on there. I don't screw around. I'm not taking a chance. I'm just building my own supports on there. I know at least 1 or 2 people talked about doing that. Let's see, you're going to need to gap fill the wings. Yeah, Rex, that is, well, I think we've talked about 3D printing is not an art form, it's several art forms, because the supports are definitely an art form. There could be 4-hour seminars or weekend seminars just in, as far as I'm concerned, it could be an entire weekend seminar. I'm surprised that some people don't stream, like literally Twitch stream building supports. I know that doesn't sound super interesting, but if I had any sort of time at all to watch a stream, I would still watch that, because that would be super informative. Again, I know it wouldn't be the most thrilling thing, and I don't know, people might not flock to something like that, but I would find it most helpful. I get told it's just pressing a button all the time. Let's see, oh, Mello has had good luck from Etsy printers. Yeah, Mello. Well, I think it's because, like you say, it's their that's their quality control on the line. That's their reputation on the line. And I think a lot of times with the miniature companies, they just need to get you something, and they're every bit as distracted as I am, and they just maybe don't notice that, oh yeah, that arm is missing. Just go back. Well, I don't think you can. Well, you can watch a highlight of it. I don't think I can grab it from here, but it was something from Storm Sunder, and people absolutely loved it. It was this Egyptian theme thing, and everybody loved it. And halfway, no, 2/3 of the way through the stream, someone said, "Where's his left arm?" Like from the elbow down, his left arm was gone. But it was such a complicated miniature, I never noticed it. And I was too busy painting it to notice. So yeah, that thing is still sitting there with no arm. And it's because they sent me. I knew so little about 3D printing at the time, I didn't even realize it was a 3D print. So I didn't know what to tell him. I thought they just didn't assemble the piece, or maybe he didn't have an arm. Let's see. There are a few tricks you need to know doing supports, and that it works every time. And hopefully it's not one of those things 50% of the time it works every time. Yeah, Rex, you have saved yourself, boy, a ton of resin and time and gloves and everything else by not having the failures, that's for sure. Yeah, that's the one that I'm using too, the Chidu box. Not sure for your Cyborg miniatures. They have some gorgeous looking miniatures. Now, Welsh, they're not doing the STLs, are they? Because weren't they one of the first ones to do some of the digital sculpting? And I mean a long time ago, like years and years and years ago. I was sent a couple of their things to paint as a commission a while back, but I've never really done anything else with their stuff. Because that wasn't he was kind of doing a lot of that Celtic knot work on the Marines and such, and they were sort of a larger scale. I think he's really done a whole bunch of stuff. I know he did dwarves and bears and everything else as we welcome it. Nalaski. Let's see. Also, Baron says there's excellent 3D printer streamers. Wow, Baron, you're going to have to recommend me some of those. Let's see. Zero says the guy who does the sports streams it to the Patreon Discord. Okay. Oh, yeah. Weren't we talking about Lychee in the last... I think we were talking about that in the last stream. Now we're getting some more lighter colors here. See that? See what we just did on our little sticky right there? Let's see. I'm always trying to try new things, so just used to failures here and there. Yeah, it makes sense that they would be streaming because, well, lots of people need to know this stuff. So we just hit that with a few more lights down there. I'm going to get some more light on his hand now. Especially the open hand here. If I can just get these right in between his little fingers here. There we go. Yeah, just a little bit. And now we'll do the same over here. Just a pinch there. At Thistle in the house, how are you doing? I don't think they're doing STL files. He's done some amazing stuff. He's been doing Egyptian. Oh, okay. Well, let's get some a little more light into this. Maybe back there. Over here too. Maybe sneak a little bit more light on this one. Yeah. Oh, what the heck? Let's hit some of the ground cover here. There's plenty of dark color there, so that when the paint hits that, it's gonna mix, and you can see how much darker that's getting here. We have another situation where we got to lighten this up. You either got to darken that down or lighten this up, one or the other. I'm going to lighten it because what I'd like to do is that. So this, I'm glad everything is going okay. And we're going to do this, and now let's take the brush going the other way. Let that blend. Yeah, it's a couple of brush strokes. All it takes. Does not have to be complicated. Oh, let's see. I just saw the big child. No, that was some of the older on the workbench sessions like that. Those will occasionally go up onto YouTube because I can't just. Unfortunately, if I only throw up Twitch stream, rework Twitch streams, or even when I was doing YouTube Live, I still have to do just kind of regular tutorials like that. So that was one that was actually an old Patreon video from, oh gosh, I think it might have been from last year. Either last year or very early this year. But I was trying to get a video uploaded and it just wasn't letting me do it. It just like failed twice, and I said, well, I got to have something up here, because if you don't post a new video every 3 days, YouTube just basically says you don't exist anymore. And I needed something, and that was when I was thinking of throwing up there. So I just said, all right, what the heck. It was also one where I tested out some new things. Yeah, I know I haven't been able to chat with Jessic in a little while. I didn't really want to bug him until I had all the printing stuff moved to its new location, and was just ready to then take it on, because right now I can't even get to the printer hardly right now. And well, then there's the fact that the USB drive might be failing as well too, so now I'm going to get some more darks right in here. Right there, there, here too, and right there. So see it, look at the extra, whoa, look at that. Does that not look like it's almost some kind of blue flame there? If this was a bunch of midtones, we hit a little bit of lighter there, and then just boom, a couple of darks here is all it takes. That is so much easier with the oils, I'll tell you that. So much easier. Yeah, when I saw these guys last night in the commission pile, I just said, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to take on some of these. Let's see, where's let's see, like Armored Wolf says, the Saturday stream tends to be afternoon starting my time. The Friday one and the one tonight, those tend to start somewhere around, say, 6 o'clock my time, just as a reference to yours, and right now it is 10:15. The Thursday one doesn't always happen because that will depend on filming schedule and uploads and all that other kind of stuff. But that one would be a later night. That wouldn't even start till, let's put it this way, the Thursday night one probably wouldn't even start for another hour yet. So those are kind of a little bit of time reference for you. It's moving quickly, so you probably see all those type features in the consumer year. Okay. Hey, Crotchety, how are you doing? My printer comes tomorrow, and I have some sliced files. I guess Well, what can really change that are some of those other settings, like your lift speed, exposure time, because someone told me to put the exposure time at 10, and prints went from 4 hours to 9 hours, the same exact thing. So that will also affect those two things. Well, several things are going to affect the print time, I guess. Now we're just going to make this darker too. Let me see. I'm looking forward to some more. Welsh Gamer Guy, it's the ideal is to have several figures at once, because I think you've heard me say with the oil paints that you wanna basically slow yourself down, because otherwise you're getting back into areas too fast. Now these are all commission figures. This one is a commission figure. These three, these are all commission figures. They all have to be done. So that kind of changes things a little bit. But in an ideal world, I'd be working on 10 miniatures every single stream. Now I'm going to set this one aside. Let's move on to another one here, because I see some stuff here we might want to do. And sometimes it is just larger ones, like like this. So something like this is basically a one stream kind of figure. Now sometimes the Saturday ones tend to go really long. Those are somewhere between 8 to 10 hours long, usually closer to 10. And those are either going to have a whole bunch of figures, or it's going to be one very large critter. Let me see. Mello says, I'm not brave enough to paint multiple figs at once, so I prime future ones while waiting for dry to. Hey, that's productivity. Mellow mishaps, that's productivity right there. Nothing wrong with pushing that productivity. Let me see. Yes, when you print, it's best not to be hasty. Numbskull knows it's with oil painting and with 3D printing. Don't be hasty. Which is tough, because you get really excited with both, right? You get really excited for that new sculpt. You're really excited for all the blending. You're excited for all the things. So now that these have advanced some more, let's get these guys sort of facing the screen, and let us do our little zoink. And we can, yeah, you can still see all of the little, well, it really does look like it's ash, doesn't it? They all kind of look like weird, twisty cigarette butts or something. Yeah, let's turn up the volume on our color intensity there. Oh, that sounds pretty interesting right there, Baron. Yeah, that's actually, wow, that could be, that's pretty valuable right there. That, to talk about saving you time and resin and strainers and gloves and everything else, that really could do it. I need more dark in a couple of places. I'll do the shoulder again. That, something on the jawbone here. Well, I'm not quite sure if that's a jawbone. And we just got the paint out of there so that we can just do some scumbling here, a little bit of mixing and blending and all the fun stuffs. Like that. That needed to, well, in some ways it was too simple. I actually had to de-simplify it. there wasn't enough. There was shape there, but there wasn't any values on those. Ooh, we got to do something here too. This either has to be darker or I got to add some light in there. I'm going to go with some light here, some there. Let's get the paint out of that brush. We'll push this around in here. And then I'm going to use it back here because I see a whole nother area that needs, well, something.